How about we look through 400 1960 Denver pennies, uncirculated as well, for some errors and varieties. Hey everybody, it's Rob with RobFindsTreasure, and recently I acquired a whole bunch of 1960 Denver uncirculated pennies. Now this person already had them in flips for me, so that makes it easy while I'm hunting. Obviously, if I deem any of these coins not as valuable as I'd like, I'm probably going to break them out of the flips and put them into rolls. Now I've been collecting my own 1960 Ds and 60 Ps, although they were circulated, but they're the best of the bunch that I have found throughout my hunts. So here's my roll and a quarter, along with 350 flipped ones uncirculated. So I'm really excited to go through these, and I'll talk about what I'm gonna be looking for. What I'm looking for is two different varieties that I want to try to find out of all these. Let me go ahead and show you the two different varieties that I'm looking for. First and foremost, the less valuable of the two varieties I'm looking for is a 1960 D over D, large date. It's called a Repunch Mint Mark FS-025, and I'm gonna go with the red on this because most of these, if not all of them, should at least score red, maybe red-brown, worst case. I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking for, so I'll zoom in on this part right here, and we're looking for a repunched D, clear as day, can't miss it, pretty easy to spot. Now there's other varieties of the 1960 D over D large date that are less valuable, but this is the one I want, easy to spot. The second thing I'm going to be looking for is the 1960 D over D small date over large date, also in red. So when I zoom in on this bad boy right here, pretty clear to see. You can really tell easily by the thickness of the 0, and then of course the top of the 6 and the bottom of the 9. So this is what I'm looking for. Those two different varieties, they fetch pretty good value. We'll go back to the first one. The auction record is $204, and that's an MS66. Now, because these are uncirculated, I would imagine they'd be somewhere between MS63 and, if I'm really lucky, MS68 plus, which I doubt. If I go over to the population report, it looks like the majority of them are coming in at MS65 because a lot of these were found in uncirculated sets. So $50 for an MS65, all the way up to the mid hundreds on the 66s, and there is none at 67 or 68 known. So that'd be really cool if I could get one of those. Now, if we go to the other one right here, population report, I set it at 63. If I could find a small date over large date, D over D, man, that would be $150 minimum, you know, give or take. And then obviously it blows up a little bit more as we get higher. If we can find one in MS66, we're looking at $350 to $600, maybe more. Again, many of these were found in uncirculated sets. That's why the population report is pretty high on the higher grades. Still, not much better than MS66 at all. So, hoping to find those two different varieties. Now that you know that, I'm gonna go stack by stack after I go through my rolls, and if I find anything worth showing, I'll loop you in. If I find nothing, worst case is you got a little education on what to look for in the 1960 Denver minted memorial sets. We've got the D over D repunch mint mark, and then the D over D small date over large date variety as well. We got some work ahead of us. I'm gonna start with this stack here. So I finished hunting my two rolls and we struck out. These are all the 69 Philadelphias. Of course, I checked them for the 69 small date because that is a little more valuable than the large date. And then these are the 69 Denver minted large dates and small dates. I wanted to get an idea of the ratio of small date to large dates just to see. Now, just so you know, that is technically a variety. They did not mean to punch small dates on the 60Ds, but they punched so many of them that it's considered a common coin. For fun, I went ahead and put both a 1960 Denver large date and small date under the scope so you can see the difference. I'll show you right here, the small date. You can see that this space between the curve of the 6 and the top is small, which is why it's called a small date. And on the large date, it's a way bigger tail on the 6, if you will. So the difference between a small date and a large date is pretty obvious once you get used to looking at them. That being said, like I said, the 1960 Denver, whether you find a small date or large date, they're the same value, despite, even in this small sample portion, we had about 4 times many large dates as small dates. Now that I showed those, I do want to show you this one that I did find. It is a small date, but it's a little bit more interesting because it has some die chips in the 6. So I'm probably going to pull that aside just to keep it aside because it's a pretty nice coin with some die chips. Now that we've done that, we're going to start going through these. I did start going through a couple of those and I remembered I got to go to my rolls first. So I've already sorted through those, nothing to look at. Now we're actually going to go hunt all 350 of these. And like I said, as I go through the stacks, I'll fill you in if I find something worth showing. I will not be showing you any 1960D small dates because there's no reason to, like I mentioned. This is actually unbelievable, guys. I have gone through that many. So I've gone through half of the first stack. Take a look at this coin I have got under the microscope. Boom. A 1960D D over D FS-025. Unbelievable. We have found one right almost off the bat. Now, there's a lot of dings on this coin, as you saw with the scope, but it's not in bad shape whatsoever. Again, there's some dings on his jacket and across the 6 and 0 and some scratches. So this is not going to be a high mint state, but that is a beauty. That is a no doubter right there. And just so I can show you the picture that we're looking at, right there, pretty evident that that picture matches that picture. No doubter, we've got one. We've got one earlier on than I expected. I was expecting to go through a whole bunch of these. It could be early luck. Let's see how many we get. Holy cow. Repunch mint mark, FS-025. I'm at a loss, guys. We just found that one. We are literally 3 or 4 coins later, and we've got another one. And if this keeps up, maybe someone bought some uncirculated rolls or got some uncirculated rolls, flipped these up. They've been sitting in flips, and they might have several in this batch. Maybe I got a whole batch of them or a bunch of them. Time to label that bad boy up. Let's take a look at it, actually. I'm too excited. Let me put it back under the flip. We'll take a look at this one. It's got some carbon spots, but the date is cleaner for sure. That does not look that bad, actually. That makes 2. I have to laugh. We have gone through another 7 or 8 coins. Boom. Another one. Another one. Yeah. So apparently I might be running into a lot here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If I keep running into them, I'll just keep going through it. I'll bring it back in if I find something different or after I've gone through a couple of stacks, because this could be something special. I could have a whole bunch of them in here. Unbelievable. So I wanted to give you guys an update. I've completed the first 120 or so hunted, or the first 3 stacks. There are 6 left, so I'm about a third of the way through. So far I have found 2 1960D with the filled 6s, some die chips on those 6s, and take a look at this. We've got 8 so far. All of them just as beautiful as the first few that you saw. Definitely, definitely, definitely the 1960D. You can even see it with the naked eye. So we've got 8 so far. First 3 stacks. Don't know if it's going to get hotter or colder. We found 3 in the first stack, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. I'll take 8 so far. Let's find some more. Oh. And there was a 1961 Denver in there. So just checking in with you guys. 6 stacks in, 3 more stacks to go. We did find a couple more 61Ds, but we're up to 15 now. We had 8 after the first 3 stacks, 7 after the second 3 stacks. 15 now in total, and each one just as beautiful as the last. I still want to find the 1960 D over D, small date over large date. We only have 3 stacks to go, but if I don't find one and I keep adding to this, I can't get mad. And we added another filled 6 as well. Let's finish these up, unless I find something worth showing. Well, those are worth showing, but something different worth showing. Well, I'm beat, guys. That was a fun hunt. We did not score any of the 1960 D repunch mint mark, double die, small date over large date, unfortunately. Quite a nice price in uncirculated condition. But we did score the 60 D large date, D over D. There it is right there. You can see the value, $25 to $50 in uncirculated condition. That's just going to be your normal MS 60 to 63. These are fantastic. They're absolute stunners. And we ended up with a whopping 20 on the dot. 5 rows of 4 in each row. And if I just take a random one, they are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I would gather that the worst of these would be an MS 63. Probably have some 64, 65s, and maybe even a 66 or 2. I didn't see anything that said, hey, I'm high mint state, 67, 68, but I haven't taken a real close look because I had that task ahead of me. To any extent, even at an average value of about 50 bucks a pop, 20 times 50, $1,000 in value right there. What a great score, and I've been sitting on these for a little bit, waiting to go through them. That's why I pulled out my 61Ds. We're going through those next, and then we'll be doing the 62Ds as well. Hopefully you enjoyed this variety hunt for the 1960 D over D repunch mint mark FS-025, and wish we would have found it, the 1960 D small date over large date FS-025.5. If you did enjoy this segment of variety hunting, I would appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting. Unbelievable. And thanks for watching.